Here on the PocketBot channel, we also want to showcase some bots that tie in well with your Legend class collection, but who in their own right are not considered Legend scale figures. They're simply bigger, not that easy to fit in your pocket, hence the category.
Can I bag that for you?
And today we're gonna look at Transformers Legacy Bulkhead. Now, obviously this bot is not a Legend class figure, nor is it a core class figure, it's like Hasbro's bringing out right now. And that's quite clear when we bring in our boy Runabout from Iron Factory. This guy's a lot bigger. And you probably know him as a gentle bruiser, so he's supposed to be a big guy. And that's exactly why I think he will work in a Legend class collection, besides being a real cool toy in itself. But before we get into that, I know there's some controversy about this version of Bulkhead. He looks very different than he did in the animated series and the Prime series. Now, I can get that. People tend to get upset when a character looks different than what they're used to, or how they got to know them and what they feel passionate about. For me, it's a little bit different because those two shows, animated and Prime, I've barely seen any of it. They were just, the way things were styled in those shows was just not my cup of tea, so to say. I grew up with G1, that's where my love for Transformers comes from. I like those shows, I like the Japanese shows, I like what they did in the 90s in the follow-up shows and everything. By the time animated and Prime were out, it just didn't mean much to me. Not to say that those shows both had a huge impact in the Transformers fandom as we know it today, and I respect them for it. They just haven't been for me. Obviously, I do know of Bulkhead, who was a standout character in especially animated, but also in Prime. So, he's always been on my radar, let's put it that way. But I wasn't taken with his design, so to say. Even though it's very iconic, yes. But then when this guy came out, that completely fits my way and look of way of looking at Transformers. This is what I like to see, and we'll get into that in a minute. I just wanted to get that out there, because I can also totally get if you do not like this design of Bulkhead. To be fair though, he was a people carrier, a military-style people carrier in animated, and that is what this is as well. So, it's not like he's a complete different vehicle than he was, it's just in a complete different style. And I, for one, applaud that, because I haven't looked at Bulkhead figures before to add to my collection, but I have added one now. Alright, now, before we go and talk about this robot, let's have a look at his box and at his vehicle mode first. And there we go. Here is his truck mode, alt mode, and the box he comes with. Obviously, he also comes with a set of instructions. Let's have a quick look at that box. Legacy is styled completely unique, which is pretty cool. He's considered a Voyager class figure, for what it's worth, I guess, because they keep changing the sizes of their classes. But that's a different discussion. It says Prime Universe Bulkhead. Let me just pick this up quickly. There is a big gap here, no plastic there, even though he was tied in there with multiple little plastic strings. We also have some nice artwork on the sides. And on the back we got his modes. And there's a little QR code there. I tried to scan it. It takes you to a website which is under construction at the moment. Which also kind of leads me to believe we got this guy a little bit ahead of schedule. I don't know what's happening there, because I got him through TF Robots, which is an official licensed seller for Hasbro products. I wasn't expecting him until April, May, but he arrived this week, first week of March, so to say, ahead of schedule. So I don't know, because the rumors on the World Wide Web are that the release date is pushed back even further. So I don't know. He's here. I'm happy. That's all that counts, right? So let me get the box out of the way. And let's have a look at this gorgeous truck. I really like what Hasbro did here. And again, I can get it if you dislike it, but I like this. And it goes great with other car bots, which I'll show in a minute. As far as articulation goes, in this mode, there's not a whole lot to do. The wheels roll. The canopy can detach, which I can quickly show, because it's just pegged in here on the sides and then on the top as well. I can take it off, but you can see he's just a little truck with some hip parts in there, but he's also got his weapon storage in there. So he's got his blaster, and he's got his mace, wrecking ball, whatever you want to call it, in there as well. So there you go. Nicely contained unit. Looks great in my opinion. Love the greens. Love the big cab. Love the little painted headlights. It is a good looking truck. Now, reason I think this goes in a Legend Class collection is because of this. Here he is with Iron Factory's Wheeljack, which is kind of like a brother to Bulkhead if you go by the Transformers Prime narrative, where both of them are wreckers. Then here he is with New Age Prowl. Works fine, in my opinion. Big people carrier truck, small police car, looks great. We can also pair him up with another Iron Factory guy. Here is Iron Factory's Hound. Also looks great. Of course, this guy is very stylized. Has the IDW looks. But we should later this year also see a release of New Age Hound and Magic Square Hound, which look a little bit more like a G1. And those guys will probably look pretty cool next to this Bulkhead, I can imagine. So, and last but not least, I wanted to show him off with Friends Project Growl. And I really, really, really like this. So yeah, you might not like this truck mode for the Bulkhead you know and love, but you cannot deny that this is a cool truck mode. Right? Okay. Well, that's as much as I have to say about the alt mode. Let's get him transformed. And that is Bulkhead transformed. Pretty cool transformation sequence. Like how some of the parts start hiding away in his legs, like the little gas tanks on the side and everything. He has a little bit of a backpack gappy thing here now. And I don't know if you can see, but yeah, you can look through his body, so to say. It's quite hollow from the bottom. Or the inside, whatever you want to say. But of course he has some accessories, and especially this thing comes in very handy. You can use it as a shield on his arm. You can also use it with this peg, of course, for him to hold, or whatever. What I like best though is to put it on his back. Just a 5mm peg here. Kind of the way it was attached in truck mode as well. And then when you put these flaps back in, it immediately takes away a bit of the hollowness. Yeah, of course, if you look from the way top down, it's still there, but when posing him or displaying him, you do not see that hollowness anymore because of the shield blocking it off. Also comes with this nice gun. It's translucent with gunmetal gray on it. Has a 5mm port, so you can hold it. He can store it on his arm. You can probably store it on some of the wheels, wherever you want. Can store it with the 5mm slots that you have. Oh, sorry. On here to put it away. But it also has these 3mm ports, and I don't know if you can see, but here on both sides next to his head, and that's where I had it in the beginning, you can just plug it in there. There you go. This wrecking ball, very cleverly done, just opens up. Has another 5mm peg in there. You can see that it's off center, so it kind of looks like it can only work in this hand. But if you just turn it upside down, you can also make it work on his other hand. I think he normally has it on his right hand side, so I will just connect it there. Right, now we have him all armed up. As far as articulation goes, he has a waist swivel, hasn't got an ab crunch or anything. The legs are on these hinges and a rotational swivel around it. Now, let me just get his arms out of the way for a second to see how far he can go. He can go all the way out, all the way forward, and all the way back if we move this. Even further than that. But that shield gets in the way a little bit. Knee bend, 90 degrees, which is fine. And he has a nice ankle rocker here. And as you saw, due to transformation, the toes and heels can be positioned as well. Sorry, arms on an outward hinge. Rotation, full 360. Cut at the biceps. So that can go all the way around, and due to transformation he has more than a 90-degree elbow bend. Oh, and sorry, he also has wrist rotation. So in my opinion, he is very nicely done. But you tell me whether it's something for you or not. I really like this bot. Now, for some size comparisons, because that's probably what you want to see. Does he work in a Legend Class collection in bot mode as well? Let's have a look, shall we? Almost forgot to have a look at this guy's head sculpt, which is great. Has that iconic chin and everything. Really gives the sense of being that bruiser, so to say. It's just on a swivel, so it can only go left or right, but it is done nicely. First off, I'm going to do this one with Iron Factory's Helix, because Andrew reviewed a different Bulkhead on this channel, where he also compared him to Helix, and it only feels fair to compare these two guys as well, so you can make up your mind which Bulkhead fits better in your collection. Obviously, this Bulkhead is a bit bigger than the Helix figure. It is what it is. Whether it works for you or not, I do not know. Now, besides this comparison, I think he's also supposed to go... He has an iconic relationship with RC, I think, in Prime. Now, I don't have a Prime RC, nor am I interested in it. But I do have DX9's RC. There we go. And I think this works fine as well. And just to throw in some other brands, here he is with Magic Square's Perceptor. That's as far as scale goes. I can imagine that you want some more comparisons to see whether or not this guy will work in your collection. So let me pull in some other bots. As far as a Hasbro comparison goes, here is a standard Hasbro Deluxe class figure. And obviously he's bigger than that. And here is Hasbro's Double Dealer, which I can't completely remember if he's Leader class or was also considered Voyager class, because Hasbro's been messing with their class sizes, like I said before. But at least here you have a comparison of some actual Hasbro figures to see how he scales. And last but not least, I would also like to compare him to one of the other bigger bots that most people have in their Legends class collection, which is the Dinobots. And this, for instance, is McFan's Toys Sludge. And there you can see how Bulkhead compares to him. And in my opinion, this version of Bulkhead is really a matter of what do you display him with, or who do you display him with. Because you could see that the truck mode definitely works, but it can also get that it doesn't work with some other figures. And robot mode works, but I can also get that it doesn't work with certain figures. Now, I don't have a New Age or Magic Square Prime, unfortunately. But I think that he would scale well with them as well, because he's supposed to be bigger than Prime, isn't he? So there you go. It's a bit of a difficult one, but looking at the toy itself, it is awesome. It's great. It's a definite recommend. Whether you use it in your Legend class collection or maybe you also collect in different scales, I would definitely say pick this guy up once he becomes available in your region, area, wherever. I'm in the Netherlands, in Europe. Apparently we got this guy ahead of schedule. Who knows when he comes out in the rest of the world. But for me, it's a definite recommend. But I can also get it if you do not like the way they styled this Bulkhead. For me, he works. I love this guy. I'm glad he's here. And I'm gonna enjoy him some more after this video. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Ape out!